Everyone who is calling for alt season right now is wrong. Bitcoin is gearing up for one last explosive move. Let me explain. I'm Brett at CryptoGX, and in this video, I'm going to break down why Bitcoin dominance looks like it's ready to surge in October, what that means for your altcoins, and how you can position yourself before this rotation begins. If you watch until the end, you'll know the critical signal that most investors are missing. So to start, we're obviously in Uptober, and if you're not familiar, it's a common thing, as you can see right here, it's trending right now. In every cycle, when you get to the end here, October is typically up when it comes to prices. Tons of people are talking about this. It has almost 1 million views just here on Binance Square, which is basically like Twitter for Binance. I typically check the trending topics on Binance Square. As you can see, October is number 2 here, as well as the government shutdown, which I'll get to in another video. So make sure to subscribe for that. But I also like to check the Google Trends for cryptocurrency. Typically, I'll put it on past day, past 7 days, maybe past 30 days. And if you scroll down here, related queries, we've got why is crypto going up today? So obviously, lots of people are talking about it and wanting to know why is it going up and probably wanting to know what's going to happen next. So that's what we're going to talk about. Now, the first thing to talk about with this crypto going up and, is altcoin season happening? The main thing we want to talk about is Bitcoin dominance. And if you're not familiar with Bitcoin dominance, this is basically the amount of crypto or percentage of crypto that is sitting in Bitcoin compared to the entire crypto market. And so 58% of crypto roughly is in Bitcoin rather than any other coin. Now, this is a strong tilt towards Bitcoin. Obviously, being above 50% means that the majority of the market value is in Bitcoin itself. Now, if Bitcoin dominance is high and we're at kind of a seasonal turning point, the next big move can be up and away from altcoins typically. Now, if we're looking historically at Bitcoin dominance, September often sets a low. Now, as you can see this year, we're right here in September and we've got this low. If we go to the past cycle, 4 years into the 2021 cycle, we've got another low right here. And then if we go to the cycle before that in 2017, we've got another low in September as well, before a immediate rally here and another immediate rally here. Now, as we've seen, if September is the low, the next month, October, is where the bounce usually goes up. So October being traditionally a historically strong month for Bitcoin dominance, we show right here, then ideally or historically speaking, we're probably looking at some sort of up right here in Bitcoin dominance. Now, if we're looking at the price increase or the dominance increase by percentage, we're looking at these kind of increases of 25%-ish on each past cycle. If we do this again from the very bottom here, giving it even just a kind of conservative 20% range, we're looking to watch Bitcoin dominance go up, to about the 70% mark. Now, this is an increase in the percentage between each other. So the entire percent of Bitcoin dominance is going to be about 10. The math here of these 25% is if 58 was a total numerical value rather than the difference in percentage, you know what I mean? So 58% to 68%, let's say, is a value difference of 10%. Anyways, that's not important. That's neither here nor there. You're looking for a maximum increase of the value being 10%. So probably 58% to about 68% is what we're looking like on a maximum range historically. Because see right here, 58% up to about 72%. Okay, that was like a 10 to 14% increase. Down here at about 52 to about 66. Okay, that's about a 14% or a 14 value difference. So basically what we're looking at is anywhere from 68 to 72 on the Bitcoin dominance value. Now, Bitcoin dominance increasing means that the value of Bitcoin is going to be higher compared to other coins. And historically what that means is that the Bitcoin price is going to surge. Now, if we push in on this Bitcoin chart here to the daily and we go closer in to our September timeline here, we printed a low in middle of September at about, let's see, what is that? Low of 57%. Now, this is a higher low. And as you can follow this trend right here from the low before to the low here, we have a higher regional low, and higher lows are typically where we push off to new higher highs. Historically, this higher low trend and having the strong October seasonality is going to push us to higher Bitcoin dominance and a price surge for Bitcoin. Now, as I mentioned, our target zone is somewhere above 60. Obviously we're at 58 right now. I could see us going somewhere between 5 to 10% in the values here. So anywhere from 63 to really like 73 in the Bitcoin dominance. And I'll even set that higher here because I want that to be, very clear for you guys. And I'm going to push this along through October. 73 would be amazing. I don't expect it to be quite that high. I think it's probably going to be in the mid to high 60s. But the important thing to kind of pause on here when it comes to Bitcoin dominance, the Bitcoin dominance itself can go up regardless of whether the price of Bitcoin goes up, down, or sideways. In late cycle phases, meaning the cycle that we're in, the current bull cycle, you need to look at more videos on the channel about the Bitcoin halving cycle to really understand, kind of those ins and outs. But in these later phases of a cycle, capital is going to rotate into Bitcoin in both uptrends or bull markets or downtrends called bear markets. Basically, Bitcoin is one to watch right now because of that fact that we're in this strange middle ground with Bitcoin dominance. It has gone down. Altcoins should have been performing a bit more based on this, but they were not. So capital is essentially getting redistributed, and that typically fuels more growth in Bitcoin because there hasn't been so much confidence in the altcoin market yet. The alt season has not happened. And because of that, people are likely redistributing into Bitcoin, and then that's going to fuel a larger surge. Bitcoin has increased from about $109,000 to about $118,000 in the last week. So people are going to see that. People are seeing, as you can see on Google Trends, why is crypto going up today? More eyes are going to be on crypto. More money's be going into Bitcoin, and it's likely going to drive the dominance now based on those kind of macro cycle trends. But it doesn't always have to be that way. My point being that the price of Bitcoin doesn't need to necessarily go up because of Bitcoin dominance. People could be redistributing from, as you can see when it's going down here, people redistributing from Bitcoin into altcoins. So the value of altcoins might be going up, or the money just might be changing hands into alts. And then now, because of this cycle, I think it's going to be going the other way. For a historical example, in 2020, let's go back to it right now and compare what happened with altcoins and Bitcoin. So if we're looking at August to November of 2020, you can see this trend right here of the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. Bitcoin started going off during this period, but Ethereum lagged. Now, if we're comparing Bitcoin to Ethereum, as you can see here, Bitcoin between August of 2020 to November of 2020 had a breakout. This breakout was a massive increase of about 63%. Really zoom in here. Over those 3 months, it was a massive, massive increase. However, when we go back to Ethereum compared to Bitcoin, and if you compare Ethereum to Bitcoin, you can see that the Ethereum dominance over Bitcoin specifically went down, and then it jumped up. So Ethereum, based on this, lags Bitcoin. Bitcoin will go first, then Ethereum will break out, and then alts will break out. And it's just proven in the history here. Now, at the moment, Bitcoin is outperforming Ethereum again, as you can see right here with these moves down over the past month or so for Ethereum. Ethereum had a nice breakout here for a bit, but now Ethereum is going stagnant. So in my mind, what I'm seeing here is that Bitcoin is on a move currently, and we have to wait a bit for Ethereum. And because there hasn't been any movement upwards for Ethereum on this, basically what I would call an Ethereum dominance compared to Bitcoin, Bitcoin still is going. There isn't really a reversal. You can see volume changing right here, especially with these, MACD lines right here, but it's not ready to go the other direction quite yet. Now, how do we compare this to real interest? Well, let's bring up the cryptocurrency trends here again. And instead of the past day, let's go with the past 90 days. As you can see here, the interest right now is at a pretty low point at the moment. We had a nice big jump back here in July, a big jump here also, in the earlier parts of July. And it's even better to compare probably over, let's do the last 12 months. Look at that. Remember when in November and December when everything was pumping? Look how high that was, and then compare to where we are at right now. The high in December was about a 91% when it comes to the interest rating for cryptocurrency, and then we're at a 34 right now. So we need to see these Google Trend numbers go up. We need to start seeing a line that is at least just going up. See, we're still going in the downward direction. Once you see something like this, even just this small move, you can bet there's going to be a bigger bigger up movement like this. Until that happens, until this interest surges, Bitcoin dominance has lots of more room to go up. Now, what do we want to watch out for here? Because this isn't just a guaranteed thing. Let's go back to our chart here. We're gonna go back to Bitcoin dominance. Now, if we are here, I would say we're gonna be watching for, now this is our most recent low, we're gonna be watching for this prior low right here, or at least something near that. I'm gonna put a ray right here at the close and make it go this direction, as you can see straight across right here. I'm looking for any sort of invalidation where this Bitcoin dominance goes at least down to our prior low, because our trend line right now is what we're following, and it touched our trend line from here to here, and we're bouncing up. If it breaks down, it goes past this trend line, and if our trend line, this diagonal, is not confirmed by it staying up here and it goes below, this is the point that I'm going to want to watch for if we're like really in trouble, anywhere around the 56-55% mark. Now, what are we looking at in the future? Obviously, we've got this little bit of a pump here to 58% from our regional low of about 57%. I'm looking for it to break 60%, maybe to go up to about the 64% range before I assume that there is going to be any sort of push into altcoins. So let's break this down into kind of a simple understanding here to bring it all together. The signal that most investors are missing is that Bitcoin dominance tends to bottom out in September historically through all of the Bitcoin cycles, and then it tends to surge in October after that. With that information, most people don't really know what to do either. As you can see from our examples here, for the next 4 to 6 weeks, I would say tilt heavier into Bitcoin. Don't necessarily sell any of your other coins for Bitcoin, but tilt that direction and watch the dominance grow towards 60%, 64%, and even higher before seeing a kind of roll off and push the other direction into altcoins. Throughout the month of October, we should see Bitcoin dominance continue to grow. Keep watching the kind of a larger timeline charts here as well, to not go into the minutes or the 5 minutes or the 15 minutes, because, you know, things just go crazy within one day, but watch the overall moves and, you know, see if there's actually going to be any sort of stall in the dominance growth. Now, once that later period of the end of this 4 to 6 weeks starts happening, you know, and you see some sort of a roll off in the Bitcoin dominance, then that's your chance to kind of rotate into the altcoins for that next leg, because as we've discussed before here on the channel, Bitcoin goes, then Ethereum goes, then altcoins go. And that's just how it is every cycle, every time. Make sure to subscribe, because we are going to be keeping you up to date with all of this as this bull market keeps going. Don't want you to miss any of those updates, especially if you're trying to kind of maximize your gains throughout this bull run. And if you don't already have some crypto of your own, I'll leave links to Coinbase and crypto.com where you'll get at least $50 in free crypto just for signing up. And if you're interested in meme coins, I'll leave a link to MoonShot where you can claim some free meme coins just for signing up there. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to hit that like button so others can find this video, and subscribe to stay tuned for all things crypto. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.